Anna here. Welcome to Sew Learn Create. I'm glad you joined us today. Today's video, we'll be making a pen pocket. It has elastic so it fits around your notebook and it keeps your pen nice and handy for when you need it. And help us get this video to 100 likes. So let's get started. For today's project, the pocket pen holder, you'll need the following supplies. You'll need some basic sewing supplies. You'll need some fabric. You'll need some elastic, and what I'm using is what I call hair tie elastic. It's kind of soft and it stretches. You can get it in little bundles. I got mine on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description box. And then you can also buy it on a card at your local craft supply or sewing center. And you'll need to cut your fabric and your elastic to the following sizes. The other thing you'll need is you'll need some interfacing. And interfacing comes in different weights, and the interfacing I'm using is kind of lightweight because it's very flexible. And interfacing has a rough side where the glue is and then a soft side. So to get started, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our pocket piece, which is our longest piece of fabric. We're going to fold it in half and we're going to press it. And we're pressing it so that we find the center of it, and then we're going to stitch across the top edge here to reinforce it. So we'll go to the machine to do that. Now we're at the machine and we've folded our pocket and pressed it with the right sides facing out. And we need to stitch across the folded edge to reinforce it, because that's when you pull your pen in and out of your pocket, that's where all the stress is. So stitching across it just gives it a little more strength. So we're just going to take and do a really narrow stitch across here so it's just right close to the top edge. And I'm going to use the inside of my foot as my guide. I'm going to start with my needle down and stitch across. So we've just stitched right across the top, really close to that folded edge of our pocket. Now we'll go back to the mat and reassemble. The next step, we need to fuse our interfacing to the body of our pocket holder. So we take our fabric and we turn it face down or wrong side up, and we put our interfacing, making sure that we find the bumpy side or the glue side. So the glue side goes down, and you want to just center that the best you can. And then you're going to press and hold your iron, and you can see how it changes colors. You can see the bumps here. This is not fused and this is fused. You don't have to, if your iron is hot, you don't have to hold it for a very long time. And you're going to fuse that interfacing to both sides of the body of your fabric. Glue side down, wrong side of the fabric, and just press it, pick your iron up, and move. And if you get a section that doesn't fuse well, you can just go back over it. Then I like to turn my piece over and just kind of iron it from the front side or the right side of the fabric, making sure that that interfacing fuses well. To assemble our pocket holder, we're going to put one of our bodies down with the right side facing up. We're going to take our pocket, put it on top, making sure that the folded edge is in the center. We're going to take our elastic. We're going to position it in the middle at the bottom. And I'm going to put a clip there just to hold it in place while I put this together, and leave the loose end of your elastic at the top of your pocket. Then we're going to take our other section of our body fabric, place it on top, and we're going to clip all the way around to secure that. when we stitch, we're going to start stitching on this right side of the elastic, leaving this loose. We're going to stitch across and then down, across the bottom, back up, and then just a few stitches on this side, leaving this section open to turn it and this elastic loose. So I don't want that elastic to get caught, so I'm going to fold it back on top of my project, and I'm just going to pin that in the middle. That'll keep it from getting caught in the machine when I'm stitching. So we'll go to the machine. Now we're ready to stitch around and put our pin pocket holder together. So remember, we're going to start here at the top on the right side of our elastic. We're going to stitch across a few stitches and then go around and come back to this, leaving this elastic loose and the opening at the top. So I'm going to put my project in. I'm going to use the foot edge as my seam guide, and so that gives me about a little over 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And my elastic is behind my foot, so I'm going to stitch a little bit. When I get to that corner, I'm going to leave my needle down, lift and turn, take my clips off as I go, and keep going. When I get to that pocket, I just want to make sure that my pocket hasn't flipped or something and the edges are nice and flat. Now this clip is where the bottom edge of my elastic is inside. So when I pull that clip off, I want to make sure I put my finger here to hold that elastic in place. And when I stitch, I'm going to stitch across and then back stitch to help secure that elastic. Turn that last corner. Now I'm back at the top, and I'm going to turn this last corner, and I'm going to stitch right up close to the edge of this elastic, but being sure that I don't catch the elastic. And I'm going to back stitch just a little bit. All right, we're going to clip our threads and head back to the mat. Now we've stitched all the way around our pocket. So what I like to do is I like to flip my project over and just make sure that I've caught everything on all, especially down at the corners. See how it's shifted a little bit on me, but everything is still caught, so I'm still good. Next, I'm going to unpin my elastic, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a tug to make sure that it is really secure at the bottom. We need to clip our corners to reduce a bulk, so when we turn it, our corners will turn easier and nicer. So you clip them going across the diagonal, staying away from your stitching. You want to make sure you don't clip your stitching, and you're going to clip all 4 corners. Next, we're going to turn our project right side out, and this is a little bit tricky. So if you put your finger and go as far down as you can towards the bottom, and then I like to put my thumb and just kind of push it in to invert it. And sometimes you might have to use your chopstick because this is kind of a long, skinny project. There we go. Then when you get the bulk of it out of the top, then you can just gently turn it. Once we have it turned right side out, you're going to take your chopstick and you're going to poke out all 4 corners. So go all the way to the bottom. Remember that you want to poke gently so you don't poke a hole in your stitching. So now I've got nice crisp corners down at the bottom. And the reason we did the stitching around the elastic was so that we could get these corners nice and pointy. All right. The next thing is we're going to tuck in our seam here at the top, making sure our elastic is out of the way. Then we're going to just press our project. Anytime you press your fabric before you stitch it, it helps it lie flat and go together better. Now we're going to take our elastic, we're going to flip it to the back side, we're going to take the end, tuck it in that hole about 1/2 inch and secure it with a clip. And I like to clip it on both sides. Then we're going to go to the machine and we're going to top stitch all the way around and then go across this top to secure this elastic at the top. So let's go to the machine. Now we're going to stitch all the way around our top stitching. I like to start at the bottom and I'm going to use the inside edge of my foot because I want my top stitching to be really close to the edge of my fabric. And I never start in a corner because it's harder for the machine. So we're going to start kind of in the middle at the bottom. And we're dealing with a little bit of bulk because of the layers of interfacing and this pocket. And the only thing you want to make sure when you're top stitching is that your elastic stays out of the way and doesn't get tucked up underneath and caught. So you just have to be mindful of where your elastic is. I get to that corner, my needle's down, I'm going to lift and turn, making sure that my elastic is over here and loose. When I remove the clips at the top, I just want to make sure that that elastic here at the top doesn't pull out on me. I'm going to go to this corner, turn, and this is where you really want to make sure your elastic, you know where it is. We're going to go across, and we're going to back stitch across that elastic to secure it really well. Making sure our elastic is over here out of the way. Make that corner again. And then we're going to just cross our stitching and back stitch to secure it. Clip our threads. And our pin pocket is complete. I hope you liked today's project, the pocket pin holder. And remember to help us get this video to 100 likes. And we'll see you in the next one.